Hi, I'm Jason Stanton. I serve First Lutheran in Onalaska as senior pastor, and this is my morning musing for Friday, December 4th. I was thinking about how people fit into stories and how important, Christmas coming as it is, just what, 3 weeks away, right? Yeah, 3 weeks away. It is a story that really fuels a lot of imagination, decorations, excitement from little ones to elders. I've had relationships with a lot of people as their pastor where they'll tell me Christmas is their favorite time of year for a variety of different reasons, but it's all centered around the story. Kids love to read themselves into a story, right? Whether it's bedtime and you're reading a story and they'll imagine what it would mean for them to be a character in that story, or it's just kids love to figure out how they fit into the story of their own family. One of the favorite things little ones, especially like age 12 and under, one of the favorite things that kids like to hear about is the story of their own birth. Maybe you've recognized this too, that I've had not just my own kids, but I've heard other people's kids too say, "Oh, tell me again about my birth story." And it doesn't have to be their birthday for them to want to hear it. It's exciting to hear about when they came into the world and what that meant to their parents and maybe grandparents and who else might have been there. And the same is true for there's all kinds of ways that people want to try to figure out their place in a story. Even the last month's election, that's kind of the job of a candidate, is to help each new generation kind of discover where and how the current situation fits into the American story. These are our values and this is who we want to be, and here we are right now, and how does that fit into the whole American story? Religious people like us have, we kind of started all this idea to read ourselves into a story by being people of a book. Christians in worship especially, that's kind of what we're doing. We gather to hear the story again and again and again. I mean, every 3 years we go back, there's a cycle: Matthew, Mark, Luke, Matthew, Mark, Luke, with John sprinkled into each year. It's an interesting project to, each time we come to worship, imagine, how do I fit into this grand story? And the time that I think highlights this idea of trying to read ourselves into the story, the time that does this best is a Christmas pageant. I don't know why this hasn't become a tradition for other parts of the Christian year, but maybe it's because Christmas for sure happens every year. There's some stories in scripture that only happen every 3 years, but Christmas is every year, and it's a story that's fun to act out, and it's fun to imagine not just what that story looked like originally, but what it feels like and looks like now. And so we've got at least 15 families that are participating in an online Christmas pageant this year. Video submissions are due next Wednesday, by the way, the 9th. But my family will be doing the part of the story that is the Magi and King Herod. And I'm really excited. Our family's going to have a lot of fun being a silly King Herod and Magi who are seeking out this baby to pay him homage. It's a way to internalize the story and to also see what part we play in it still, that we seek to pay homage to Jesus. and to know that this Jesus is born for us, as much as Jesus was born for these magi who were not Jewish, who were from far away. And so putting ourselves in the story, whether it's into our own family story, into our nation story, or into our faith story, is an important thing to do again and again and again. And so I invite you, even if you're not a part of this year's pageant, I invite you to consider tonight, Friday night, from 3:30 to 6 at Sugar Creek Bible Camp, there is a drive-through Advent experience where there will be times and places to sing carols, see a live nativity, like with animals and such. There will be hot chocolate involved, but it too will be a way to just kind of get us out of for some of us, it's a pretty monotonous existence right now when we can't go many places, but this is an opportunity to go and experience the story in a different way. Keep faith alive.